Well, it's what is today? Friday. We got a couple days to go here, so we had a nice practice and get moving, and a fun All-American banquet today, and working on prep for Sunday.
And we'll open it up to your questions. Start here.
Coach, both head coaches are from California. Coincidence, you think?
I have no idea. I'm a Nebraskan now. You can even ask the governor. He says I'm a Nebraskan. So is our AD. So I'm a Nebraskan.
Let's go here, please.
Coach, Bergen and then Swindle for Texas, 2 freshmen in the championship game. Are you seeing young setters coming out of high school and club more prepared for college these days? Or do you think these two are kind of the exceptions to the rule? And then I'll ask a follow-up to Bergen.
I don't know. I've been coaching 23 years in Nebraska, and Bergen's only the second freshman setter to start. Nicklin was the first one. Nicklin's her freshman year, we got to the finals against we played Wisconsin, right? Yeah. Stanford. Yeah, Stanford. And so I don't know. That's probably a good indicator that freshmen are becoming more ready to play. I talked about that yesterday or day before about club volleyball is doing a great job of preparing these kids. Those coaches have gotten better, and there's more players across the country, and the competition for them is great.
And Bergen, I understand you know Ella. Yeah. So I'm wondering, what's y'all's relationship like? What do you like about her game? And for you, what was kind of the biggest adjustment you had to make to playing with these ladies in the college game?
Yeah, me and Ella have played together before in the USA gym, and we got to be good friends, and she's a great setter, so it'll be a good test for us tomorrow. But yeah, the biggest change coming into college, I would just say, is the speed of the game. Coming from club and high school, it's a whole different game into college, and so that was a big adjustment to make, especially as a setter, but it went pretty seamless, and everyone around me kind of helped me to adjust.
Let's go to the back corner, please.
Bergen, when you got to Nebraska and all of you came in early, did you get any specific advice on how to do things and the way things should be? Mostly, I guess, from Lexi and Allie, who, the old ladies of the team. You're freshmen, do it this way.
I don't really think it was like that. It was kind of just learning by example. So we kind of just always had eyes on them, and they did a great job of showing us how things were done. But I don't know if we ever really had those conversations of this is how it's done, especially for freshmen. We just kind of watched them. We followed what they did, and they just really prepared us well.
Can I ask you, Lexi, even Merritt coming in as a new player, was there anything like you guys had to say, okay, this is a Nebraska way, so to speak?
Not specifically. I mean, I feel like we had a lot of team meetings just talking about culture and how we want to be as a team, but I feel like they have all been on big stages, and they kind of knew what it was going to take and what Nebraska volleyball was about. And when they got here, they kind of fit right in. They meshed really well, and they didn't really need to be told what to do. They kind of just did it on their own.
We can stay right there, please.
Lexi, we got to watch practice the other day, and so Jalen gives the scouting report, and then he goes over there and he's hitting the shots rapid fire, and he's talking the whole time. What does Jalen do defensively that makes you guys feel confident when you have a time to prepare for a team that you guys will be confident and play good defense?
I think the entire coaching staff, but especially Jalen, he gives us a game plan, and he instills a lot of confidence in blockers and defenders that we just got to do what we've been training all year, and we'll be just fine. There's going to be certain things that we have to look out for, but at the end of the day, I think he just reminds us to do what we've been trained to do, just like we do in practice. And I feel like he just gives a lot of energy and belief in everyone on the team, and it really helps everyone out.
We can go to the first row there.
Yeah, Coach Cook, I asked Coach Elliott this about what you have to do to be this good for this long, year after year after year. And I wondered, he said it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of worry. He puts a lot into it. I wonder what that's like for you, and then if you could also talk about how you've changed as a coach since your first national championship match, I guess, 23 years ago.
Phew. Are we doing a documentary here, or I'll try to answer it simply by, I think, coaching at this level to try to be the best. For me, it's each year's a growing experience, and I'm just trying to learn, and a constant learner. If you really want me to get philosophical here, I started riding horses and roping steers. Okay, and one of the reasons I wanted to do that was, one, I wanted to learn how to do something I didn't know how to do, and two, learning how to ride a horse. You got to get that horse to trust you and work with you, which is a great parallel going with coaching. I've done things all through my coaching career to try to always get better and make it interesting, and then try to apply those things, to the teams that I'm coaching, and I give them examples all the time from the roping world. How have I changed from 2000? Well, I've gotten a lot older, but there's the one constant through all that is just trying to build a great relationship with each generation of players, and that has changed over the years. So I just can't be the same as I was 23 years ago. It's a constant adjustment and figuring that out, and I think that's something that's been really important for me to continue the success, but it is hard to be good for a long period of time. That's one of the hardest things. Is sometimes it's easy, you get to a Final Four or you win a conference championship, but to do it year after year after year, it is a lot of work, and it is hard, and it's I think it's one of the best accomplishments a program can have. And I think you look at Nebraska Volleyball and Texas, both have been very consistent in each year.
First row here, please.
Coach, we know the special nature of this weekend. You're on ABC, dynamic matchup, maybe more eyeballs on the sport than ever before. And the small picture, you're going for a national championship, but there's a big picture aspect to what's going on here. What do you make of what's going to happen here and what it could mean for the sport?
Well, we already, with the stadium match, we blew that thing out of the water, as far as making an impact. I think this is just another thing following up, which is great. You and I probably can remember Wide World of Sports every Sunday night. I don't even know these guys even know what ABC is. So that puts it in perspective right there. But for me, being on ABC that's watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. People were here. I asked them. She didn't even know who the Pittsburgh Steelers were, but that was ABC, Wide World of Sports, watching Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, those guys. I mean, ABC was the sports channel that you'd always watch for big-time sports. So to me, it's a big deal, but our players probably have no clue what ABC is, but it is big time.
Go here, please.
For all four of you, and starting with coach and working your way down, and again, I'm going to go back a little bit. In 2003, when the Bucks were playing for the Super Bowl, I asked Warren Sapp the week before, give me one word to describe what winning the Super Bowl would be for you. He said immortality. And Bergen, I'm letting you off the hook to last because you probably weren't even born in 2003. One word, coach, winning it, what would it be?
Epic.
Ooh.
You could
One word.
Like. Yeah.
One word. I'm just gonna say special.
Probably surreal.
Hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll say historic.
You can go to the second row, please.
Merritt, last week you talked about the patience that the coaching staff gave you initially. What does that look like in day-to-day practices and growing the team, and how did that benefit the team?
Yeah, patience was something that we talked about a lot, especially with Coach. And it's something that I remind him of a lot. But at the beginning of the year, we understood that there were a lot of things that this team had to learn. Just with having 6 new players, we were going to have to learn the systems, how Nebraska plays, just things like that. There was a lot of growth that needed to happen. And
we talked about how it wasn't going to happen overnight and it was going to be a process. So I think patience was huge, especially at the beginning of the season, just learning how to go through a Big Ten season, learning all of those things that you have to learn, and that most of this team didn't have those experiences. But they've done a great job. Every single one of them has been super patient with us. But I would say it was definitely a bigger thing at the beginning of the season just because we had to get all of those experiences under our belts. But we check in time to time to make sure he's staying patient. But he's done a great job at it. Oh,
Let's go to the aisle here, please.
I want to piggyback on this question. I want to ask Lexi, as a player perspective. By the way, Andy Kennedy from ABC, the local ABC affiliate in Omaha, Nebraska. Does it matter that the match is on ABC in terms of national exposure? And what does the potential of Sunday's match have for the growth of the continued growth of your great sport?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. And obviously, like Coach said, it's a really big deal. And for the sport, just to be put on this stage and have so much attention around it, it's ultimately going to grow it in the upcoming years. And I mean, you can see from everything this year, from all the attendance records and media records, that it's growing in the right direction. So I think this is definitely a really huge step to keep it growing.
Back corner, please.
John, before the question, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat was Saturday afternoons.
Oh, I was used to watch it on Sunday. I was in California then.
You got it delayed. Not to take you back to those 23 years ago, but throughout your career, coaching a group of freshmen like this is different. How do you coach them differently than you would have all those years ago? And, what have you, I guess in terms of maybe your coaching personality and the difference in kids?
I don't think in the gym it's any different. Merritt brought up patience. I have to have a little, I've really had to be patient at times. But I think the biggest thing is just being comfortable in their world and connecting with them and like Ellie and I did a TikTok and it was over 5 million views. Now, to me, I have no idea what TikTok is. It's some little video thing, but, that's a really big deal. But, doing things like that and being with these guys and just being in their world. And when we went to Brazil, we had a great time to really build that. So to me, that's what's different is it used to be probably in the old days, it was old school coach, player, and that was it. Now it's a whole different world. And just embracing what they're all about, and then maybe trying to teach them some history and the way it used to be, and give them examples of those things too, so they don't forget the past. I talk about stuff like that all the time.
First row aisle.
Coach, outside of your program, you're seeing more programs, Wisconsin and Marquette, for example, take selected matches outside their normal venues into a larger venue. Texas was in here a short time ago saying they're discussing that now. How much, as one who is in favor of the growth of the sport, how much do you like hearing those kinds of discussions taking place now, at more places on campuses?
I think it's awesome for the sport. It's big events. We're discussing a really big one too, but we have to get NCAA approval to do it. But I think it's great. If I was Texas, I'd be in that either in the baseball stadium or Jerry Dome. Now the question is, can they sell it out? That's the question. But yeah, I think it's we kind of showed, and Wisconsin showed by going to Milwaukee, that these are events that people want to be a part of, and that's why this stadium event was so big, because people were there. I mean, they were moved by it, and that carries on, and people like big events.
Go in the first row here.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you three this. Coach Cook and I grew up probably with 5 TV channels, I would guess.
Yeah.
So ABC was a big deal. He says these guys may not know what ABC is. Do you know ABC Network? Is it different? And it meant $10 million for the women's basketball final, which was the biggest ever. Is that something you guys noticed and thought about in terms of, hey, we're going to have that opportunity? And all three of you, if you have some thoughts on that.
I feel like it was less of, I mean, I think we all know what ABC is. It's not something that I'm just like, I'm going to turn on ABC tonight, but we know what ABC is, you know? And so I think for us, it was more about just like being on national television and having that opportunity, less about exactly what site it was on and more of just the opportunity to be playing a national championship on national TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the record, after our stadium match, all of us were all either on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and there might have been one other one we were on. So that was great exposure. It was pretty cool going on those shows. It's a whole nother world when you're dealing with those guys.
To the aisle, please.
John, with your offense, obviously you have great passers, great hitters, but what are some of the specific things that Bergen has done as far as running the offense and setting that have helped your offense improve this season?
I think the gift Bergen has, if I'm going to correct her on something, she already tell me what I'm going to say. She just has a great feel. We don't really give her a lot because I want her, she's a feel setter. And Kelly Hunter was that way too. Where Nicklin was, we had to kind of program her more. But the great field setters, just like Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he doesn't do everything that, he was trained as a kid growing up. He just creates and does things. Those guys have great feels, and that's Bergen's greatest gift, that, and she's a great competitor.
Go here.
For all three players, did you play any other sport, or has it just been volleyball? Because he just brought up Patrick Mahomes, and being a baseball player, he comes from the side a lot and everything. Did you play other sports growing up?
I did gymnastics most of my life until I was too tall. And then once I quit gymnastics, I started playing volleyball. I ran a little bit of track, but it was pretty much just gymnastics and then volleyball.
I played basketball. It was my first sport, and then all the way up until high school, and then I just did volleyball, and then I played tennis my senior year in high school.
State champ?
Yeah, I made it to state.
I also played basketball. That was my first sport too, and then I played all the way through high school, and we won state one year.
Go here, please.
Yeah, Coach Cook, you guys have played so many matches over the years against Texas, obviously regularly when you were both in the Big 12. Are there certain things, especially since Jarrett's been there, that are characteristic of his teams, and when you guys play each other, what tends to be the deciding factor?
That's a good question. I mean, Texas is known for their athleticism, and he's done different systems, different tempos, all those things. He's just, you're going to play Texas, you're going to play against a physical, athletic team.
Go here. Second row.
Bergen, were there any nerves last night for you in the match?
I mean, there were a little, just kind of realizing the circumstances, but I really didn't let myself get too nervous because I knew I had full confidence in this team, and we were very prepared and very well prepared for the game we had last night, and just kind of trusting myself and trusting on my teammates. So I think it was just kind of the circumstances. There were nerves that come with that, but nothing too crazy.
Do you think you'll be nervous on Sunday?
Yeah, a little. I trust our team, and I have full confidence in us, and that's something that our entire team has worked on this season, is just the belief in ourselves.
Go to the back row here, please.
Coach, looking ahead to Sunday's game, if you were to look at one or two keys that you want to see your team come out and execute properly throughout the match?
Serve and pass, and follow our game plan, and win long rallies.
Coach, you started 23 years ago, and you talked about how you evolved as a coach and how the players have evolved differently. You coached your daughter in that span. Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
It was awesome. It was awesome. I coached her up till she was 14, and then when she turned 14, I didn't know anything. And then, of course, when she went to college, all of a sudden I knew what I was talking about again. And it was an awesome experience because the way she handled it and with the team, and yeah, it was great. I'd highly recommend it.
Go here.
Meredith, I have to ask you, as a Southerner, what's been your favorite part of Nebraska, and has there been anything you're just like, wow, I never expected this?
Nebraska actually reminds me a lot of the South. I think that's one of the reasons why I chose to go there, was it reminded me a lot of home, and there's not as many differences as you think. One is no one says y'all. So I don't say y'all anymore, and I say you all, and my parents give me a really hard time. And everyone in Alabama gives my parents a really hard time when I say you all. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference.
You can go here, please.
Kevin Suits with Channel 10 Lincoln. John, with the extra day in between the semifinals and the finals this year, how do you manage your anxiety and I guess some of the emotions that you feel in between the two rounds?
It's kind of nice. We'll see, how long it is, but it's kind of nice, to have a couple days in between, because you feel like you go nonstop here. I mean, it's been nonstop. I mean, we've been going all day. So I'm actually looking forward to tonight. They can be with their families, they can relax and get some quiet time, and I'm looking forward to that as well. If we were playing tomorrow, it would be nonstop all day today, and then you're gearing up and playing tomorrow. So I think it's good. It's playing on Sunday with ABC. We'll see how that draws. But anyway, you have to ask me afterward.
Go here, please.
Coach, when you're a team like your program like you have this season, you've gotten so much attention and you've been on top of things. You're the hunted by everyone else. Is that something you enjoy? Is it ever a burden being the target and the one that everybody's shooting for?
It's just part of being in Nebraska. It's been that way. We get everybody's best shot. We sold out every arena we played in this year. It's just part of it. We're used to it. I'm numb to it now.
Go here, please.
John, I think Jarrett Elliott said Nebraska, Texas is like Lakers, Celtics. If I understand this correctly, you're more of a football guy. Do you have a football comparison for Nebraska, Texas in a championship match?
I'd have to think about it. Nothing pops in my head right now. We have a lot of rivalries. It seems like now being in the Big 12, that was the rivalry, but now, I mean, it's how many matches we had with Penn State. Now Wisconsin. It's been we've had great matches with UCLA, who's coming in the Big 10. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of great rivalries now.
We go to the
I
back
would
row
say
here.
Alabama, Auburn, but I'm not from Alabama, so I don't know how big that one is. But Merritt tells me it's kind of a big deal.
Good comparison,
Yeah.
Coach.
But I heard her dad tell me today that both her teams were playing in red, so that means I think Alabama football and Nebraska volleyball. So
My question's for Bergen. I saw today on Twitter that O'Gorman gave you a little shout out on Twitter, or formerly X. And so, can you talk a little bit about having the support of your hometown and high school, but not only that, but have fans all over the country?
Yeah, my hometown they were so special, and especially my high school, it was really just a family there, and I went to a private school, so it was a little smaller, so everyone was just always behind me, and I would have to leave for weeks at a time for USA stuff, and my teachers worked with me, my principals were there for me, my coaches all just were so understanding of what I was going through, and so that helped me immensely throughout my high school career, and just it's kind of the same as Nebraska is. Like, Nebraska is just one big family, and having that support behind you, it helps in those big moments and just almost kind of calms you down a little bit. So that was really nice. I love my high school, and but yeah, their support has just helped me through so much.
We can go to the aisle here.
Coach, another question about Sunday. Texas's slide attack last night was pretty good, and then the left side attack got going. Can you talk about just some of the difficulties defending an offense like that and what you hope to see, kind of what's a successful defense against a really good offense come Sunday?
Well, O'Neill's, playing the national team this year, so yeah, she's going to be a handful to stop. And what we try to do is, slow her down, try to touch it, dig it, or serve it so that's hard to set her. So that's what you got to do. If everything's perfect, she's going to kill it, and then we got to side out. That's the bottom line. And then, Skinner's one of the premier players in the country, and she's going to make some big kills. And we gotta take advantage of the opportunities we can when we can dig her or block her again. And you just try to control those guys and not let them have huge nights.
Go to the back corner, please.
Lexi, just from the last time that you made it to the championship match, is there anything on the court, off the court that you learned or took away from that you're kind of actively applying to this week?
I think just getting to the Final Four, I've kind of tried to remind everyone to take it all in and enjoy it. And there's going to be nerves and there's going to be pressure, but just having fun, playing for each other, I think is something that was my big focus. And just, I think as a team, it was our big focus too, is to just play for one another, leave it all on the court, and just play fearless.
Go to the second row, please.
John, no matter what happens on Saturday, a freshman setter is going to win the national title. How big of a deal is that?
I don't know. I look back. Fecky was freshman of the year when we won it in 15. Was it 15? Yeah. Anna from Wisconsin was MVP of the Final Four as a freshman. Again, whatever year, it was 21. Yeah. So I just, like I said, you guys have all been talking about these freshmen can come in and they can play. And so I don't think it's that big a deal. I think it's just the way college volleyball is going now. I think you look at basketball, there's freshmen playing in the Final Four, and of course those guys are going to the NBA, and then there's football players that are standing out as well, freshman quarterbacks. I think, again, I'd have to go back. I think Alabama had a freshman quarterback that won. So I just think it's where we are in sports now. These guys come in and they're ready to play.
Let's go here, and this will be our final question.
Coaches like to sit down and talk to coaches in other sports who are successful. Have you had a chance to maybe break bread with Coach Devaney or Coach Osborne while you've been in Nebraska?
Well, Coach Osborne's been a big mentor to me. I've spent many hours with him, and he was the AD. They said I made him the most mad they've ever seen him. That's a whole nother story, but no, I study other coaches. I study other leaders. I just think there's a lot to learn. There's some great people in Nebraska that have admired and tried to learn from in all walks of life. So I just think that's part of that growth mindset you got to have as a coach if you want to keep getting better.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Thank you.